been doing some videos about crowdfunding because I think it is something that self-published authors really should be looking into, and it's currently a trend. But also, I think it's something that self-publishing authors should seriously consider. And so I've done two already videos. The links to those will be in the description down there. And today I wanted to talk about some steps toward crowdfunding success for authors. So if you're an author ready to bring your nonfiction book to life through crowdfunding, this is for you. Because launching a successful crowdfunding campaign requires careful planning and execution. And you'll notice as we're exploring these essential steps to achieve crowdfunding success, you'll notice that I'll say, and then go back up and iterate, because there is some iteration in this. So although I've put them in a particular order, it doesn't mean that you do one, then two, then three, then four. It means you do one, then two, then three, then one, then two, then three, then four, then two, then three. You know what I'm saying? So it's about iteration. So let's get to it. Number one, create a budget. Before you do anything else, just think about, okay, what do I actually need financially? Because financially, the finances is usually the number one reason people start crowdfunding. So do a little research, gather quotes from service professionals, editors, designers, printers, whatever you're going to need, distribution, promotion, art copies, whatever it is you think you're going to need. Do the research, get some quotes, figure it out, and have a number, have like a budget listed out. Start there. I'm always happy to provide numbers for authors who are budgeting their book for crowdfunding campaigns. So you can also just get in touch with me. How you get in touch with me is in the description below. Now, if you're going to be shipping books or goodies as part of the rewards, factor that into the cost as well. And I get it. You probably don't know what those are yet, which is why I'm saying this is an iterative process. But start thinking along those lines. Factor in contingency just in case. Number two, define your goal. Now you have a sense of what the finances look like. Don't just dive in. Clearly define your goals. So fundraising is generally the number one goal of crowdfunding, but so is building a crowd of people who love what you do, people who are willing to put their money into supporting you. So what does that look like for you? Building an email list is something else that crowdfunding authors can do. So what does that all look like to you, right? So go research similar projects, engage what's realistic for a financial target for a number of people who will contribute to what some popular rewards are. Just go do some research and start defining your goal. Set goals outside of money. Don't forget there are goals other than money. Crowdfunding helps you build a community of readers, of clients if you run a business. So think about your crowdfunding community as somebody who can give you feedbacks, who can help you grow your audience, who gives you credibility. So think about all of these pieces when you're defining your goal. All right. So think about when you're thinking about goals, think about it as an enduring relationship, not just a thank you for your $7 or thank you for your $97 and goodbye. Number three, research platforms. Now, there are so many platforms out there, some specifically for authors. Go look at all the different platforms. Look at how the pages are set up on the different platforms. Look at what it costs to raise money on that platform. Look to see if that platform has its own audience or it tends to work with authors and others don't. Do your own research. Don't just use what somebody else used. Do your own research. Platforms have their own rules, have their own fees, have their own audience demographics. Research and compare these platforms to find the one that aligns best with your project, your goals, and your target audience. Number four. Now, so if you think we're at three, you're probably going to iterate this a little bit. And then number four, set rewards, which means maybe going back to number three is researching platforms, looking at other campaigns and seeing what rewards other authors are using, right? So actually, I think setting rewards is the fun part. And you can give a digital print or a print copy, of course, but what else can you give them for their money? So create different levels for different contribution amounts. The higher the level, the more personal, the more valuable, the more prestigious the reward should be. I mean, then there are obvious things like workshops or early access or book launch parties, or I don't know, limited editions or signed copies. But what about having some fun? If you're at this level, I'll write you a personal haiku, or uh, put some money into an augmented reality experience. Get people's address and write them a personal thank you note. Plant a tree in the backer's name if you are you're writing a book about the environment, or if there's a book related idea, add that. Create a collaborative community project. If you're doing a memoir, find a place where you can bring other people's stories and let them contribute stories to this collaborative project. Have exclusive events with you for certain really high end contributors. Okay, number 5, craft your pitch. Now you've got your goals, you've done some research, you know your platform, you've kind of figured out some of the rewards, and you've iterated that a little bit. So you're kind of, you're feeling good about that. Craft your pitch. Now you have your goals, you know your rewards. Here's some elements to think about in your pitch. A hook, grab their attention. They are scrolling, they are going through, looking at cat videos, and you need them to stop and pay attention to what you're doing. So, hook. You need an overview of your project. Make it exciting. It's not like, now I'm going to do this, but it is a summary of like what, where, who, how, when. But it should be an exciting one. Tell them something about you. Not everyone who comes to your crowdfunding page will be your friend or family, we hope. So you want something about you. Who are you? Why should they invest in you? And of course, about the book. What makes this book really exciting and worth investing in? And then your goals. Be honest and direct about what you need, and offer some social proof. So now because you're offering social proof, that means you need to go get social proof, which this is something that I think as an author you want to be working on all the time. It's just getting social proof. Number 6, prepare visuals and media. Your crowdfunding page needs to represent you in words and in visuals. I recommend having a video. I know not everyone likes video. I used to absolutely refuse to do video. I hated to do video. I've had a lot of coaching to be able to stand here and talk to you like this. So if that's how you feel, I get it. I can recommend someone who does really well, because I've been through a couple of people's programs. So you can ask me if you need it, but let your words, let your video, let your visuals tell your story, and tell a story they'll remember, tell a story they'll connect with. So this visual, this media, this is this storytelling journey. This is this experience you're going to be bringing them on. If you've watched my video last week, the essential elements, storytelling was one of them. So go back and watch that. Aside from video, uh, attractive visuals, especially for your rewards. Don't make them look boring. Give potential backers an experience worth talking about. So add other visual elements, progress bars, colorful call to action buttons, whatever it is. So now you've got the budget, the goals, you've picked your platform, you've got rewards, you've started preparing visuals. Now it's time to think about your timeline. When are you going to launch? And remember, you still have some things to do before you launch. It's not tomorrow. So like maybe in a couple of months. When am I going to launch? How long is the campaign going to go for? Right? So what are my pre-launch preparation? What am I doing during the campaign? What does the post-campaign fulfillment look like? So just start thinking about timeline. And again, don't rush into it. This is important. This pre-launch lets you plan. And it's going to let you work with your team, which we're going to get to very soon. He's going to let you work with your team. So think about all of this as you go. So be generous to yourself in your estimates for getting things done, especially in getting rewards to backers, because I've noticed this is where a lot of the campaigns fall down. People are like, okay, once I have the money, I'm just going to breeze through editing and book covers and all design. I'm going to breeze right through that. And then we're going to, as soon as it's published, I'm going to just get it out to everybody immediately. And that usually doesn't happen. So be a little generous with yourself on that. Number 8, plan for promotion. Plan your promotion. You are going to have to promote. The key is to have a page people want to explore, The key is to communicate early and communicate often. And one of the biggest keys when you're planning for promotion is figuring out how to have a strong start. And that's going to next we're going to talk about team, but you're going to, I'm going to have a team. What strategy am I going to use? How am I going to have a strong start? How is that going to help me build momentum so the fundraising grows steadily? So when we get to the end, we're going to do that final push and really like make it over the target, right? How will you communicate with your backers to show appreciation? How will you keep them excited? How will you ask them to bring in more backers? So you'll need a really thorough promotion plan to drive traffic. And I know some authors, when we talk about this, they're like, this just seems like a lot. I'm like, yes, but you are going to have to launch the book. And if you have a crowdfunding campaign that helps you launch the book, you already have a bunch of readers, which means you're way ahead of other authors. And so you're going to have to do this either way, whether you fund your own book and then launch it, or whether you use crowdfunding as part of your production and launch and promotion. You're going to have to do all of this anyways. You're going to have to plan for promotion. So you might as well use it to raise money as well. So key things, right? Your key messaging, themes, branding, what channel, social media, email, press releases, outreach, partnerships, uh, partnerships, blog tours, podcast tours. What are you going to use? And then now you've got this down, you've got like what kind of team you want and what you want it to look at. Now you can start building your team. And one of our biggest fears about putting a crowdfunding campaign out there, you should put it out there and crickets, right? It's heartbreaking. But many authors don't realize that often when we put the campaign out and it doesn't succeed, it's because we haven't done the backup work to start strong and build momentum. And then authors take this to heart and they think they're not good enough, their book's not good enough. And what they don't realize is that a successful campaign takes planning, takes strategy, and a team. It takes a team to start strong and build that momentum. So before you launch your book, your book campaign, your crowdfunding campaign, build a team. Tell them what the strategy is to start strong. Tell them what the strategy is to grow. Tell them what the strategy is to engage and say, look, I need your help. I just need everyone to talk about it. This is how we work as a team to get this going. Get those early backers who believe in you. So when it launches, they'll go in and support you right away and then go tell all their friends that just supported you and bring more backers in. Don't go it alone. No one succeeds in a vacuum. All right, that was the first 9 steps. And of course, remember, iteration. You might start building a team and then go back and look at your promotion, and you might change your timeline when you've got the team, right? So you may go back and change your visuals, your media. So absolutely, this is an iterative process. Number 10, consider the legal and financial implications of running a crowdfunding campaign before you launch. Don't get into trouble. Before you hit publish, take some time to think about the legal, the financial aspects of crowdfunding. Feel free to consult with a lawyer or a financial expert. Understand your obligations, understand the tax implications, understand any legal requirements for filling rewards where you live. Set up a separate bank account or have some kind of financial system so that like, this is my money, this is the campaign money, and this campaign money goes to these things. It doesn't get mixed up with my money. So have all of that really clearly delineated and make sure you haven't missed anything really important. Okay, I'm just going to remind you, what are those first essential steps? 1, I suggest creating a budget. Do some preliminary research on costs, search costs, ask professionals for for numbers, right? Number 2, define your goal. How much money are you going to need, and what other goals are you going to set up for this? How is this going to integrate into your life and business so it doesn't just make money now for a book project, but it builds success for you longer term? Number 3, research platforms. Look into platforms like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or GoFundMe. And remember, each platform has its own rules, its own fees, its own audience, and choose one that aligns with your project and your goals, because launching a successful crowdfunding campaign for your nonfiction book requires careful planning and preparation and then execution. So, by following these steps, you are going to increase your chance of success in any crowdfunding campaign you do. All right. I hope this is useful. There are 2 other videos about crowdfunding if you're interested. And if you love this, please subscribe.